So yeah, you guys can read the title and thumbnail. Inside of this video, I'll be giving you guys the update roadmap for Type Reborn, the copy that me and Setro are making. So I'll basically be just listing everything that you guys need to know as far as release, update 1 and update 2, and basically what we kind of want to do with the game. Because we do want to be different than other copies, and especially different from actual Type Soul in terms of like listening to the community, adding actual fun shit and things like that. But the very first thing is going to be when release actually is. Now I know in my last video I said that it would be this week or next week. We did have to change that slightly. We basically are going to drop a test session, like testing for I think 2 weeks, and testing will either start this week or next week, because we want the game to actually be polished, right? If we dropped the game this week or next week, like publicly, we would have a lot of stuff that Type Soul doesn't have in it, but a lot of it would probably be buggy, so that's why we're just going to do a test session instead. So for 2K Robux, you guys can just buy a tester, but in my own honest opinion, I would just wait for release, because then it'll be really polished. We're going to be adding so much shit within like the next week and two, so the test session will probably be hectic. I won't lie, in my own opinion, I would kind of just wait for public release. But yeah, for the stuff that we're actually going to add, right? So the very first most important thing is the thing that a lot of people on TikTok were talking about, how we're going to be off lore. We're not going to, like, we're going to add stuff from other animes. That is true, but it's all going to be community voted, like whatever the community wants, because obviously, you know, Type Soul, they have most of the canon shiitais and stuff like that already in the game. We will be adding more, but like we're running out of canon stuff to add, so we will have to do off lore, like off bleach updates, which we will have one of those on release. We will like have one fully on release, which you guys already know that we're bringing Fullbringers, so they will have their own mode for that too. We are going to do a JJK update. You guys already saw the Dojo Shikai sneak, but basically the first off lore full update will be on release, like it will come when we release the game. And for Soul Reapers, it's going to be Dojo. For Ronkars, it's going to be Satuna. Now Quincy's, I didn't really know what to do. I personally wanted Geto, but like no matter what we chose, it didn't really work, so we just did a community vote, and for some reason they all picked Hikari. So I guess Quincy's, you guys are getting Hikari Volt Standing, which is a little interesting, but we'll make it good. And then for Fullbringers, they're getting Yuji. So Fullbringers will have Itadori on release, and then Fullbringers as well, which I do want to touch on real quick. Fullbringers will have a lot of modes. It won't just be like Yuji in one other mode to pick from. It will have a lot of modes on release, because we want it to actually be genuinely playable and have content. And then the last thing for the JJK update will be a universal weapon. They're all going to have the same crits. It's going to be Toji's Inverted Spear of Heaven. But yeah, that is going to be the whole first, like, amount of shiitais and stuff, because a lot of people kind of wanted off lore. It's going to be, like I said in the last video, it will be kind of like Menma, where we are going to have off bleach stuff, because most of the canon shiitais are already used. And you know, we're just not gonna like milk the bleach shit for as long as it can be milked, because there's a lot of shiitais in bleach, but other than the ones that they already have in game and like 4 others that we're planning on releasing on release, there's not much actual canon shiitais and shit like that left to drop. But as far as canon shiitais that we are going to drop, like shiitais, reses, and volts, the canon ones that will be out on release for shiitais is going to be Tomomaru, which if you guys don't know who it is, I'll pop up a photo, but it's basically the dog guy, and his Bankai will be working how his Bankai works inside the anime, where it summons a giant statue person to fight for him. That will be how it works inside of our game. And then Zabimaru, which is Renji's. I don't know why Type Soul doesn't have Renji's shiitai already inside the game. That is kind of crazy to me, because people have been asking for it forever. But those are going to be our 2 shiitais on top of the Dojo shiitai. And the Dojo shiitai sneak that I did sneak, we are going to revamp it slightly. It will be completely different pretty much. And then for Quincy's, other than Hikari, we're also going to give you guys Jail and Zombie. Jail was the one inside like the first or second episode of 1000 Year Blood War, and then Zombie is Gislane's. Once again, I don't know why they don't have those in actual Type Soul, but we will be dropping those on release with Hikari. And then for our Ronkars, all that we have right now is Sakuna and Nell. We will be dropping Nell's Resurrection, but we will drop another one with it. We just don't know what to drop. Like, we don't know another one at the current moment. So if you guys want to put inside the comments another res that you guys want inside the game, you know, you guys can just put inside the comments, and you know, whatever the most liked one is probably what we'll end up adding. But yeah, As far as new Shiitais and all that for release, the ones that we plan on having is going to be one JJK1, which is going to be for Story Person Dojo. Arantars will have Satuna, Twinsies will have Atari, Fullbringers will have Yuji, and for the Universal Weapon, it will be Toji. And then for the like on canon ones, we'll have Tomomaru and Zabimaru for Soul Reapers. We'll have Gel and Zombie for Twinsies, Nell and one other for Arantars, and then Fullbringers will probably bring like 4 or 3 on top of Yuji, so we'll have like 4 or 5 in total. We just kind of need to decide which ones we are going to bring into the game. I will say 100% Chads will be inside the game, and then some other ones will obviously, like, you guys can probably predict who will be inside the game. But as far as Shiitais though, that is what we will be adding. And then for the other stuff, we're going to revamp progression. We're going to revamp boss raids. You guys might have seen the sneak already. I'll put it on the screen right now for boss raids. But yeah, boss raids will basically have their own cutscene. They'll feel like actual bosses. It won't just be you load in and you fight basically just a player NPC. They'll actually be something fun. They'll have their own cutscenes. They'll all have their own roles. Like, it will be really actually like good boss raids. And then for progression, personally, I don't know how they're doing it yet, but just know it will be easier than actual Type Soul, but it will be funner than actual Type Soul. So basically, I think we're just going to change like how you did partial. We're going to change how you did all that, and just make it kind of like relatively all the same, easier, and funner. If we can, that is basically the end goal. And then for faction leaders, because we actually are going to have titles and things like that, for faction leaders, we're just going to leave it up to the community. They can vote for whoever they want. So you guys can vote for the King of Waco. You guys can vote for, you know, the Soul King, whatever. You guys can vote for all of them. And, you know, whoever gets the most votes pretty much is who will be the faction leaders. Now, that probably won't be until like a week after release. So, you know, people actually get used to who's in the community and things like that. And it probably will get revamped a little bit. It probably won't be exactly how I'm explaining it right now, but just know there will be faction leaders and there will be titles. That is the next thing that I want to talk about. For all you people that play Type Soul and like genuinely play it, like you clan war dooners that actually sit there and play 24/7, we will have titles. Now, we don't know if we're going to do them via tournament or just like word of mouth. Whoever's the best will get a title, but more than likely we will do tournaments or something fun to obtain titles. Like whoever's the best will probably have a title. So titles will be a thing inside our game as well. And then obviously Fullbringers will be added, which will have their own style of progression. And then Vassal Lords will be an actual playable theme. So Vassal and Vassal Lord will probably be relatively around the same strength level, but you can basically choose if you want to be a Vassal Lord or a Vassal, you know, because why not, right? But yeah, that is basically everything that we have planned for release. As far as update 1 goes, we will be adding dungeons. Now, we don't know exactly how we'll do it, but that's basically going to be our form of endgame content, because right now Type Soul, for their endgame content, they have ranked and clan wars. We want to add like one other thing to it, which is going to be dungeons. We probably will add more options in the future, but basically to get good loot inside of Type Soul, right now you have, I think it's Arena, Ranked, and Clan Wars. We will still have all those like running, but we also want to add dungeons for PvE players and players that just want to have fun with their friends and not really sweat and try hard for good drops. We will have dungeons, which will be really fun. We don't know exactly how we plan on doing it yet, but more than likely it'll just be you climb through the dungeon. The farther you get, the better rewards you get. They'll have exclusive rewards. They'll have essences. They'll have a bunch of good shit. They will be rare to get, essences and all that, but that will be another method that you could obtain it. And then as far as like the bonfire rats and all that, we'll just have our own custom ones. And then for update 2, our update 2 will be Hellverse. Hellverse will be dropping an update 2 with all the true bonfires and all the true modes, so just be ready for that. So basically, update 2, we don't know exactly when it will release, but just know it will be our second big update. And throughout those updates, we will also have smaller updates. I already have some other off-lore updates planned, but any other things that you guys want, like that's not based off Bleach, you guys can feel free to put inside the comments. Like what anime you want, what video games you want, literally anything. If you guys want movies, shit, bro, I'll fucking make, you know, like Star Wars Volt Standing where you have a lightsaber. Like, I don't really care. The off-lore modes and things like that will probably be funner than the on-lore ones, because you guys will be customizing how they work and things like that. But yeah, that's basically our roadmap so far. Obviously, I'll have more videos throughout the week and next week about the game, how we plan on doing shit and things like that. But as of right now, we're going to be in testing for probably like 2 weeks. And then release will happen. We're going to have Vassal Lord as an actual playable thing. We're going to have Fullbringer. We're going to have a JJK update. We're going to have basically everything's being revamped as well. That's one thing that I do want to mention is it is called Type Reborn, and the copy is based off of Type Soul. But the only thing, like our end product, what we're going to do is basically only keep the combat the same, because that is really the only thing that people like about Type Soul. And the pairing might be reworked, because a lot of people hate Type Soul's pairing. So we might actually change the parry as well. We just kind of need to decide if we are changing that. But yeah, basically the whole game will be revamped at some point. Eventually, we're gonna get our own maps. We're gonna basically do everything. The only shit that's really gonna stay is like the kendo skills and like certain skills. You know, skills will probably stay the same, and combat will probably stay the same. But everything else will be reworked, like the maps and things like that, eventually. But yeah, that is basically the whole roadmap. You guys can feel free to leave your own thoughts in the comments on things that you guys want to see in the game, things that you want to see for Fullbringers, things that you want to see for dungeons, really anything that you guys want to see in our game, because we will be listening to the community. And once again, you guys can join the Discord and also go to the suggestions tab and leave your own thoughts in there as well. But we plan on doing a lot. So testers, you know, you guys can do your part. Testers, to become a tester, it's only 2k Robux. We wanted it to be a little bit cheaper, but still a little bit expensive. We didn't really want everybody to be on it. But yeah, pretty much that's when it will be. Release should be like 2 to 3 weeks after the test session is fully completed, and then public release will happen, and then you guys can play. But yeah, that's it for me. If you guys end up enjoying it, like and subscribe. Once again, join my Discord, join all the Discords, everything in the description. But yeah, I'll see you guys later. Peace.